Goldfish is the media. Coach. Here's panicking.
Thanks for being here. A couple of comments about the Wisconsin game. Great win. The Buckeyes on offense, the champion efforts were once again, this is very big with our team on how we try to reward great efforts. And Marcus Hall is graded a champion. Two receivers, Evan Spencer and Devin Smith, arguably the most improved area on our team. It's a common theme that we're getting several receivers graded out champions, and that's not just obviously for catching the ball, but they're very involved in the perimeter blocking for a run game. And then the co-offensive players of the week this week were Philly Brown, had 8 catches for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns, and the captain, Jack Nehort, played very well. So that was our champions players of the week. On defense, Adolphus Washington came back from injury and played very well. Great champion effort. Mike Bennett, fairly consistent player, also came back from injury. C.J. Barnett, who was arguably one of our most consistent players. And Ryan Shazier's defensive player of the game, played his best game of the year and has really come on the last couple of weeks playing for us. Special teams player of the week was Devin Smith. Devin Smith, our punt team held him 5 of the 6 times, they tied with 10, and 1 time on the 16-yard line. So it was our special team. The return game was very average once again, which we have to at some point have something more than average. But our coverage units were really good. Really good. Kicker did a nice job, and then our coverage units continue to be very impressive. Very pleased with the effort. Obviously, after the game, we had a shot to our team was when we lost Christian Bryant. We still feel that way. The sign of a good team is though someone that really moves on and has someone step up in his place. The issue is going to be not just as a player, but as who he is, and that's where. One of the greatest things you get to do as a coach is watch and witness a young guy turn into a man, and he has. I can't say enough good things about Christian Bryant and what he means. I'm hoping we can bring him with us to Northwestern, but he's an extremely valuable member of this team. So great win, and the best thing about 5-0 is a chance to go 6-0. Really difficult game coming up, back-to-back games against ranked teams. Other than Christian, we should be healthy. Tommy Schott's still a couple weeks away, so he won't play, but everybody else, from what I'm told, looks like they're going to be ready to go play. And another night game day I hear is going to be there, and it'll be a heck of an atmosphere, so we'll look forward to this challenge.
Open up with Biddle, Dave Biddle.
Dave Biddle, Bucknuts. Urban, is there any chance that Christian Bryant could return next year? Is there any type of...
Next year?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's a 4-game. You mean redshirt?
There's been talk of like I've never heard about this before, but a body of work redshirt. I've heard that thrown around that there's a possibility he could use that, similar to what Dennis Gardner did at Michigan.
I'm going to find out. It's been going on so fast.
And in regards to this year, is Pitt Brown now the next lineup?
Or Titus. It's Pitt Titus for the next 2, because Titus plays nickel. And so Pitt, the good thing is you get a veteran, a kid that really does a lot of things well, Pitt. And then we have Titus Powell, who's got an incredible future. And then Von Bell's also in the mix for somewhere, because once you replace that position, then you got nickel dime issues. So the 3 names we just mentioned are the ones that, as we speak, we're having a conversation about.
Front row middle, Todd. How difficult is this turnaround? You go night game to night game, rank game to rank game, and you're playing the teams that 2 weeks for you guys.
Obviously, I mean, it could be harder. I mean, this is, some people say bye weeks don't matter. You never hear me say that. I mean, bye weeks are very important. And in fact, about scheduling, I always try to put it where, against the team that, you deal with injury and fatigue in the middle of the season, and then obviously back-to-back opponents, especially when you play against a team like Wisconsin, a physical game. So we had to be very cautious on how we operated yesterday. We have to be very smart how we do Tuesday and Wednesday, because that's usually real physical. So today I'm getting a feel for how our guys are when they're going through the training and the treatment. So it is what it is. It's part of the season.
Front row, Bill.
Urban Meyer was the Spanish. The guy that you mentioned, Titus Powell, Pitt Brown, and Von Bell, hard thing to try to figure out how to mix and match them? Is there any front runner way you're looking for that?
Yeah, it's complicated, and that's where I trust, last year I would have probably put my hands all over that, because I didn't really know Edward Withers very well. Great reputation. He's an excellent football coach, and we met this morning at 7 a.m. and I want Coach Fickle's opinion. I want Mike Rabel's and Kerry Combs, and I'm going to get mine. And we're going to meet again at 2 o'clock, and I want to hear what they're going to do, but I gave my opinions. But I have great confidence in all the above matter. Experience. This is not an easy one. This is a game that you outman them. Very easy offense. This is a very complicated offense, one that's going to require. One of the disappointing things we had last Saturday was not just a couple guys got beat, but we had some errors in checks and communication. And we can't have that. In that position that is open now, that's a big part of it. So that's where maybe it has more advantage over a Von Bell or a Titus Powell.
Timing of playing a team like Northwestern.
It's tough.
Front row, Tim?
Yeah, Tim Columbus Dispatch. Urban, a couple of things. Number one, how did you finally judge Braxton Miller's comeback and stuff? What you see there that pleased you?
I thought his preparation for the game was one of the best he's had. His practice was one of the best he's had as far as Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And I thought his accuracy on the deep ball was outstanding. And we were a couple shot. That defense we played forces you to do that. They're going to negate the run. And that's, we kind of went into the win the game mode in the second half, and it's hard to do that against that style of defense. And hindsight, maybe take a couple of shots, but I'm not sure that's the right thing to do either. But I thought he did well.
And Bradley Roby at least seemed to have a little bit of a challenge out there at times on Saturday. Is he a guy that you need to get his confidence back this week, or just how did he play in your opinion?
He didn't play up to Roby standards. We kind of put him on an island the entire game. We held him to 100 yards rushing, a team that was averaging over 300. That was made, that decision was made on Sunday, right after the family game. That's to win this game. Our defense, I didn't think we could do that. I thought it would be a 200-yard rushing day, because I think that number 25 and 20 in the offensive line are very good players. So, but you have to, at least, to give up some yards, but we won the game. We couldn't stop the run game unless you have a guy that you leave hold on out there.
Yeah, but he also got banged up early. Do you think that affected him?
You'd have to ask her. I don't think so.
Clay?
Coach, do you recall your 2001 win over Northwestern as a BG head coach?
Oh yeah. I get coaches are weird ducks, man. I could tell you. I don't know my address, but I can tell you every play in that game. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 29 points in the fourth quarter against my friend, a great football coach, Randy Walker. We made a decision in the fourth quarter not to kick deep because we couldn't stop him. Zach Kustok was the quarterback. They beat the team up north like 2 weeks earlier. I think they were ranked at the time. And we had a kid making his second start, Josh Harris. You want to keep going? And he had a post corner out.
How significant was that for you as a young head coach?
Oh, it was, we had a 6-hour bus ride and we refused to leave the locker room for about 2.5 hours. These kids won't leave. I wouldn't leave with them. We were just crying and enjoying. It was an incredible comeback by the team. We scored the last 2 touchdowns, within a minute and a half. We're down and the game's over. Great memories. The kid, the running back gets a first down, we come in, strip the ball, go down and score, and then we go for 2. We're down by 1. There's no way we could stop them to go to overtime, so we decided to go for 2 with just 20 seconds left, and we pitch at the kid from the last, he goes in and scores, we win.
Are you still that gutsy as a head coach?
No, not at all.
Front row, Austin?
Urban, how does having Carlos Highback change your rushing attack?
Yeah, it does. Jordan Hall's got to be involved. That was a decision we kind of made. We thought, we thought we knew it was going to be very hard to run in there, the way they play their defensive line. They're playing with those 4 eyes, and they're very good against the rush. But those are our top 2 backs, and we're working on that now. So I want to make sure we get Jordan Hall involved. So.
Does he look, talking about Carlos, better than a year ago, more, has he changed at all?
I don't know, we haven't seen him do much. Even Saturday wasn't up. We didn't packed in there pretty good. So we didn't have an opportunity to let him do what he does.
Far left, Matt?
Just wondering, with the number of weapons that you have offensively, how difficult is it? I mean, you're talking about Jordan getting involved. Do you go into a game and think, we've got to give this guy this many touches? We got Domtre, you got the receivers. How difficult are those
Great question.
discussions?
Is it difficult? No, it's actually awesome. It's great. It's difficult as the other one. You know, where you don't have the puzzle, the pieces of the checkerboard that you like. And we have shovel the leg. The young man that goes to class, that lives right, that practices hard, that does it right, that's really hard for me because I get real close with these players, all our coaches do, and you know, you just want to do right by them. You know, that's why we made a concerted effort with Evan Spencer the week before, and he had to throw him the ball. I mean, there was a couple of times I just throw him the ball, and just he earned that right. And the kid that doesn't go to class, the guy that's a painter, no, it's not hard at all. It's not hard. Just sit back here and watch these guys play, but you know, we have a good majority of our guys do everything right. So that is difficult, especially when you're talking about a kid like Jordan Hall.
Front row left, Doug?
Urban, you talked about that you went into sort of win the game mode in the second half there with Wisconsin. What's that balance of, I don't know, trying to have a killer instinct or whatever and keep your foot on the pedal versus not taking too many risks? How's the coach balance all that?
Well, I mean, I think that's a good question. Here's what went through our mind is that, Tom, obviously, it's not a lone ranger there, but we felt that for them to consistently throw the ball down the length of the field, we're playing the plan to win, which is field position football. Every time we had the ball was near the midfield or area, we have a very good punter, very good punt team. I trust our guys, we're going to down that ball, and we're going to make them drive it 90 yards. They run the style of defense now that I look back. They don't allow you to just run the clock, but there's so many people packed in there. You can tell the way we scored the points for shots. It's not the kind of, you'll see all year, they're not the kind of defense that's going to give up methodical running the ball. They force you to take the shots. So that's why we try to even run Braxton a couple times, spread them out, and they're working very well. So that's what goes into the process. At the end of the day, you're up 3 scores against a team that supposedly can't throw the ball as well as they did. And we made a decision that the way we lose that game is turn the ball over. And maybe style point. I heard style points or something. I'm not really concerned about that, but we won the game.
And with Cameron, I don't know, that backspin he gets on it, he seems like he really is able to place it there inside the 10. Is that?
He's actually better at that than driving the ball right now. We've been working on, he's kind of stabs at it. His last punt was a 4, 5, 6 hang time. And that's what we expect all the time. 53 yards, 4, 5, 6. So that's what we expect. And Devin Smith was magical. They doubled him. He went down and stopped him. And a good player. They decided to double our gunners. So he's a very valuable weapon for us. He's only a freshman, too. We got him for a long time.
Fourth row right, David?
Coach, Northwestern, the fact of using the 2 quarterbacks is a guy that obviously has success doing that over the years. What kind of input can you give to the defense? What makes them so effective at what they do?
Well, the good players, I think they've used him, but once completed 77% of his passes, and the other one's a very good runner, but he can also throw it. The very myriad offenses, there's a lot of similarities to the 2 offenses. You know, their offense coordinator was at Bowling Green right after I left, Nick McCall. So I watch him play and I see they're very good. And schematically, they're very good.
Front row, Bill?
Yes. Philly Brown is a guy who I know was not on your most favorite nation staff at the start of your tenure. Can you describe his development on and off the field?
His biggest turnaround, I can remember. He's the leader. He runs the show right now. There's a reason why Evan Spencer and Devin Smith are great out champions. There's a reason why we go down to individual, that everyone's going +2 effort, we call it. It's because the guy the first in the line is number 10, and he demands it. And I mean, he's got a nice life out of him. He's got to continue doing what he's doing. In the classroom, doing the same thing. Yeah, this time last year, I was hoping to move on somewhere else. We had enough. He's really done a nice job. Not a nice job, great job.
Couple more questions, Tim?
Yeah, Urban, real quick, as you look at your passing offense, you guys are on track to obliterate the school record for touchdown passes. I mean, what do you see that's really clicking there, or is that just the way things have happened the first 5 games?
No, I'd like to do this stat. I haven't done it, but it'd be good to do story would be how many deep ball we can attack. Our kids can get open and they can catch, and we can throw a deep ball. That we couldn't do that last year. First games I refused to call it because they were going to be covered and we couldn't throw it. Now we have a lot this Saturday. We're trying to say, I mean, that's a big part of who we are. So we'd have more explosive pass plays. I don't know if I remember this early in the season ever.
Yeah. And number two, as you look, I would think you've looked at Northwestern a little bit defensively. What sticks out about them? I mean, they've given up a lot of yards, but they seem to make plays.
They're a little bit like, they're very, Mike Hankwicks is the defense coordinator. He's an old-time friend of mine. He's an excellent coach. Obviously, the head coach is very involved in the defense. They're very sound. It's a 4-3 defense. They're not a radar, bizarre-looking defense. So it's very sound. Sound defenses at times give up yards because they're not doing all the chaos that we see nowadays in college football. But it's hard to score very sound defenses because at some point they're going to force you to make a mistake. They're not going to give up the big one and force you to make a mistake.
I can ask one last question. Cameron Johnson, that last punt, from a confidence standpoint, obviously it was huge for you guys. Just what does that do for a kid to maybe deliver in the clutch like that?
Because he hasn't. I've graded him about a C-. His average hang time was just under 4 seconds, which is completely unacceptable up to this point. And so I'm just seeing a little bit more confident step. The players love him. And so I'm hoping we see what you said. That's a great deal of confidence that he can go get the job done.
And last question, Todd. Urban Braxton ran the ball 22 times. Obviously, they weren't all designed, but do you want him running the ball that often, especially given where he's coming off?
No, it's a 14, 15 time a game. We like to run, but like you said, a lot of them are scrambles. But no, we like to keep moving over that.
Some of that comes from what they're doing too, and what's out there for you to take.
Yeah, that every game changes. A lot of it has to do with him too. He sees something open, he certainly has a right to go take it. So there's a lot of factors involved in that.
Did you like him as a blocker?
Oh yeah, chirping about that all day. He did a nice job. That was a good one. Have a great day, guys.
Thanks.